Hi guys, welcome back to my videos. I hope you're doing well. My name is Isha and I'm a life coach, and today let's talk about how emotional intelligence can help us understand and manage our emotions better, and how it can be applied to create and maintain honest, deep and healthy relationships in our lives. So, what is emotional intelligence? Simply put, it's being intelligent about emotions of self and others. Okay, so emotional intelligence is our ability to understand, use, and manage our own emotions, as well as recognize and value the emotions of others. In simple terms, it helps us express ourselves clearly and understand other person's perspective, leading to open and honest relationships. Okay, emotional intelligence is not the same as having or expressing our emotions or being emotional. It's more like an emotional fluency, the ability to recognize and speak the language of our emotions and to identify those emotions in others too. Okay, you could also say it's a set of personal skills that we learn throughout our life, a combination of self awareness, managing our emotions well, being empathetic, tuning with others, and putting it all together to build strong, harmonious relationships. Emotional intelligence is not same as IQ. Difference between IQ and EQ is IQ measures our cognitive abilities such as analytical skills, problem solving, logical reasoning, while EQ, emotional quotient, is our aptitude for understanding and managing emotions, empathizing with others, and building effective interpersonal relationships. So your IQ can be measured through those advanced standardized tests, but there is no universal accepted test to measure your EI score. Okay, now let's talk about the components or the pillars of emotional intelligence. As beautifully explained by Daniel Goleman in his book Emotional Intelligence, first and foremost is knowing one's emotion. Self awareness, as in recognizing a feeling as it happens. Okay, so self awareness means being conscious of both our mood and the thoughts that causing the mood. Understanding what thoughts are triggering certain emotions. So it's about paying non-judgmental attention to our inner state. So emotional self-awareness is the ability to understand the causes of our feeling and to recognize the difference between what we feel and how we act. For example, imagine you are feeling irritated after a team meeting. So instead of snapping at a colleague or suppressing the feeling of irritation, now self-awareness powered by emotional intelligence helps you to pause and reflect. Why I am feeling this way? Oh, I felt unheard when my idea was overlooked. And this awareness helps you separate your emotion from your reaction, allowing you to respond calmly or address the issue in a more constructive manner later. Okay, so how can you increase your self awareness about your emotions? By recognizing your own emotions and their triggers, which means instead of suppressing how you feel, first name the emotion, as in the feelings, and then what causes you to feel that way. Okay, the second method is practicing mindfulness and self reflection. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment, observing our thoughts, emotions, our bodily sensations without judgment. And self reflection allows us to evaluate our interactions, understanding those emotional triggers, and learning from those past experiences, leading to better emotional control, empathy, and stronger relationships. Okay, by regularly tuning into how you feel and why you feel that way, you build that greater self awareness, and this helps you recognize emotional patterns, also manage your reactions more effectively, and respond rather than react. Okay, thirdly, using your emotional vocabulary to articulate your feelings. Expanding your emotional vocabulary helps you articulate your emotions more precisely. For example, saying I am feeling overwhelmed or I am anxious about the outcome, or I feel unappreciated. This clarity not only helps you understand yourself better, but also improves how you communicate with others, making it easier for them to support or respond to you effectively. Many people tend to use those general terms like I'm fine, I'm stressed, I'm upset, which often do not fully capture what they're truly feeling. Okay, so the more specific you are about your emotions, the more control and awareness you gain over them. and which again strengthen your self-awareness and emotional regulation. Okay, now, now the second pillar of emotional intelligence is self-regulation or managing our emotions. You know, emotional intelligence helps us express difficult emotions like anger, frustration, or anxiety in a more acceptable and less aggressive way. So it enhances our ability to manage stress, practice anger control, and cultivate more positive feelings about ourselves and others. So, for example, when your emotions are bubbling up and you cannot find the words to express how you are feeling now, when you are overwhelmed and unsure how to voice it, all that inner chaos can lead to a meltdown. But instead of bursting out now, you choose to pause and say things like, I need a moment to digest what you said, or I'm not ready to respond now right now. Okay, give me some time to sit with this. So whenever you're not ready to have a conversation, to make a decision, or give an answer in a stressful situation, now pause. Instead of reacting immediately, express that you need time. You know, never hesitate to say, I need a moment. Especially when someone is emotionally unloading onto you and you feel your emotions all bottling up. Okay, this is emotional intelligence, not reacting in the heat of the moment, but responding thoughtfully, even when the other person is trying to push you, prove you wrong, or provoke a reaction. Okay, you know, this pause isn't about winning or retaliating. It's about understanding the situation and your own emotions better. So ask yourself, am I trying to prove something or am I trying to learn something from this? Identify what triggered those strong emotions. You know, emotional intelligent people reflect by asking, what did the other person do that caused such a strong reaction in me? Because ultimately it's about managing your emotions, especially when you're upset, angry, or frustrated, and asking, can I still focus on what needs to be done right now? Can I handle this conflict without losing the control? Can I stay calm and truly listen to the other person? Okay, now, the third pillar of emotional intelligence is social awareness. Okay, so which involves practicing empathy, as in truly caring about others. So, are you an effective listener? Can you work with people and build trust with them? You know, this involves personal connection in social settings, the essential skills of the leader, that negotiating solutions, and much more. In high demand careers now, emotional intelligence has become an essential trait. So whether you are in a leadership role or simply trying to voice your thought in a challenging situation, emotional intelligence can help you navigate those conflicts, connect with others, and communicate more effectively. One of the most common pitfall of low emotional intelligence is poor listening. You know, we often focus on what we want to say next rather than truly hearing the other person's perspective. So we interrupt, dismiss, or even mentally check out. But empathy begins with listening, listening deeply, patiently, and without judgment. So, for example, if you're a boss or have a boss who doesn't truly listen, doesn't tune into what others are saying, and fails to understand different viewpoints, now that's a sign of low emotional intelligence. And such leaders create a toxic atmosphere where employees cannot thrive. They may drive results by stressing their employees or by burning them out, but they will eventually lose those good employees. Okay, but if you have a leader who not only inspires and motivates you, but also make you feel supported, guided, and clear about expectations from you, now that's high emotional intelligence in action. In that environment, you can naturally give your best, not from stress, but from a state of clarity and motivation. Okay, so to enhance those emotional intelligence and social connection requires empathy, truly understanding and acknowledging the emotions of others, not just what they say, but how they feel beneath the surface. Okay, so practice active listening and tuning into those non-verbal cues like the tone, the facial expressions, the body language, because emotions often speak louder than words. Okay, build trust and genuine rapport by responding with emotional awareness, compassion, and respect, making others feel seen, heard, and valued. Okay. Uh, Last but not the least pillar is emotional intelligence and relationship management. You know, a person with high EQ has a greater ability to resolve conflicts in relationships, understand others better, share and cooperate more easily, and communicate or express their emotions effectively. So, for example, during an argument with your partner, instead of yelling or shutting down, you pause and say, I'm feeling overwhelmed right now and I don't want to say something that I will regret later. So, can we take a short break and talk calmly in a bit? This shows emotional awareness, regulation, and respect, the key elements of managing relationship with emotional intelligence. Okay, so if you are someone who often feels misunderstood in relations now, emotional intelligence can help you connect more deeply, resolve conflicts, and build those lasting bonds with the people you love. Okay, it enhances our communication skills as we communicate with empathy, clarity, and mutual respect. Okay, use those I statements to express your feeling and needs without blaming or attacking, and apply those practical tools like mindful listening, emotional validation, and open dialogue to deepen your emotional connection and strengthen your relationships. Okay. At the heart of emotional intelligence lies the power to understand ourselves and connect with others in a meaningful way. As you build that self awareness and learn to manage your emotion, show empathy, and nurture those healthy relationships, now you begin to create a life filled with clarity, compassion, and true connections. So I hope by now you have gained a clear understanding of the basics of emotional intelligence. In the next video, I'll be sharing practical ways to strengthen your emotional question across different areas of your life. So with that, I will wrap up today's session. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one.